What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Gakis, and today we are going to be showcasing all 3 of the new legendary weapons coming to Destiny 2 tomorrow with the launch of the new Guardian Games 2026 event. We're going to be taking a look at all of the perks these weapons can get and discussing their PvE and PvP god rolls so you guys know which weapons to grind for. And so, let's get started. Alright, now, even though these weapons are coming to the game tomorrow, we know all of their perk combinations today because the info is available within the database. Specifically, we're using light.gg to look at those god rolls. So, the first weapon we're going to look at here is the Triple Laureate. Now, this is the first ever stasis spread shot hand cannon in the entire game, and the spread shot hand cannon archetype introduced within the Edge of Fate has been making a pretty big dent in the meta, especially for PvP. Now, taking a look at specifically what this weapon can get in terms of perks here, guys. In terms of the barrels, it's a spread shot hand cannon, so you're going to want range. Something like small bore with range and stability, no downsides, that's very good. Hammer forged, even better, like more range, no downsides. Now, full bore is going to offer your biggest increase to range, but it has stat downsides. You even have stuff like extended barrel, yes, more range, but lowering the handling may not be desirable. Basically, whatever barrel you want that's going to give you that range increase, guys. Then in the next column here, you're going to, again, for PvP, want a stat increase. Ricochet rounds, right? That's going to be fantastic. Even high cal and armor piercing for that range increase. Now for PvE, you may want to go with something like appended mag for a magazine size boost. Generally, the spread shots don't have the biggest magazine sizes. Now, after that, in the first main perk column, we've got some bangers here, guys. Slide shot, incredible for PvP, gonna reload the mag, gonna provide you that range increase when you slide, so sliding in with a spread shot hand cannon to get that crispy, 2-shot kill or 1 shot to finish off an opponent, very, very good. We've also got rangefinder. Ever since the buff where this is now just giving you plus 10 more range, that's also going to be very good. Those are probably the best for PvP. Now for PvE, you have some interesting ones. Crystalline Corpse Bloom is very interesting, especially in the left column. This is going to, upon getting a kill, make a Stasis Crystal. Well, there's certain builds, especially the Stasis Titan, that want to be making as many crystals as possible. And so this is actually not bad there. You're going to blow up the crystal. That's going to give you Stasis Shards that improve your melee regen. So not a bad perk there. Then you also have stuff like Subsistence, Grave Robber, we're going to talk more about that in a sec, even Ambitious Assassin to improve the magazine size. All of those are okay. Now in the right column here, we have some more juicers. We got Master of Arms, right? Now with, again, a spread shot hand cannon where you're damaging an opponent with something else maybe, and you're using this as your closer range option to finish them off. Master of Arms giving you the damage boost if you get a kill with another weapon can be very potent. We also have Trench Barrel, right? After dealing melee damage, then you're going to get a massive 50% damage increase with your spread shot hand cannon. So melee, 1 shot, they're probably going to be dead, right? So spread shot hand cannon could be, Trench Barrel is going to be pretty juicy with a spread shot. You then have opening shot here, guys. So make no mistake, for like the PvP god roll, something like slide shot, opening shot, yeah, it's good on every hand cannon. It's going to be good here too. We then have stuff like, this is, wow, it's such a big perk description is coming off the screen, but this is Chaos Reshaped. This is going to give you a damage boost and also give you healing as you continually are in combat. So it has 2 stages. This used to be only a raid perk. We're now kind of seeing it more commonly on some just normal weapons. Make no mistake, this is a very powerful perk. We then have 1-2 punch. 1-2 punch, fantastic for melee focused builds. Now the spread shot hand cannons are not going to give you as much of a melee damage increase as normal shotguns with 1-2 punch, but the spread shot hand cannons have infinite ammo, so having that backup 1-2 punch for a melee build, very good. Then we've got Kill Clip for a damage increase, and even Pugilist, which is going to reduce the cooldown of your melee. So overall, guys, the god rolls. For PvP, it's going to be something like, Hammer Forge for the range, plus a range increase. Any of these are going to be fantastic. Then probably slide shot or rangefinder, and then opening shot or even 1-2 punch. Yeah, boosting the melee damage in PvP is not bad. But yeah, opening shot, hard to argue against that. But, you know, Master of Arms, Trench Barrel even, these, heck, Kill Clip even is going to be crazy with a spread shot. All of these are going to be good. Now, keep in mind, with all of these weapons, you also get the unique origin trait that only Guardian Games weapons can get, and that is Classy Contender. Now, Final Blows are going to grant improved class ability energy. With certain builds, especially something like a Hunter, if you're doing, you know, Ascension, if you're doing Threaded Specters, and you want to be getting your class ability as much as possible, this is a real origin trait to keep in mind. This is going to matter. Now, for PvE, guys, I think you're again kind of keeping, you know, a range increasing barrel, maybe appended mag, and then I think you could easily go for like Crystalline Corpse Bloom plus 1-2 punch, or Grave Robber to be reloading as you get melees plus 1-2 punch. That is going to be fantastic for a melee focused build. Or you could go with Trench Barrel, or you could go with Chaos Reshaped. For PvE, man, kind of just this whole thing is your sandbox. There's a lot of different options here that would be good. Again, I think it's going to be something like, you know, Subsistence, Grave Robber, Crystalline. If you want, you know, there's already Spreadshot Hand Cannons in the game. You want to make the most of this being Stasis. Crystalline is going to be very unique to Stasis, plus any of these damage increasing perks, and you're going to have an incredible primary weapon there. Now, moving on from there, guys. The next weapon we're going to be looking at here is the Beacon, and this is going to be a solar rapid fire frame fusion rifle. All right, now taking a look at what perks this thing can get, in the left column, you want range and stability, right? Because stability is going to improve the kind of jump of your burst in terms of a fusion rifle. So small bore is going to be great. A pure range increase like Hammerforge, that's going to be great. Kind of the usual suspects in terms of barrels here, guys. But again, getting one that just improves stability is not a terrible idea. Then, in terms of the batteries, well, for PvP, you want something like Projection Fuse with that range, or you want Particle Repeater for the stability. For PvE, you're probably much more interested in something like Ionized Battery, right? Or Enhanced Battery for that magazine size increase, because we're going to be talking about DPS with this thing. Because in terms of the main perk column, oh boy, this thing can get some juicy PvE, incredible PvE perks. Like, we're talking god rolls upon god rolls, some of the best perk combinations on a fusion rifle I've ever seen. So let's talk about them. In the left, you've got stuff like Envious Arsenal. So when you're damaging an opponent, a boss, with all three of your weapons, you're going to be reloading this weapon. Then in the right column, I'm just going to skip ahead here, you do got Bait and Switch. So Envious plus Bait is an absolute wombo combo on rocket launchers, on sniper rifles, on every single type of weapon in the game. And it's going to be great here too, right? So you're switching through all your weapons. And remember, if you have something like a Wither Horde in your kinetic slot, that's going to be continuously damaging. And so you don't have to switch to all your weapons. You just Wither Horde, and then you're switching between this and your heavy. You're triggering Bait and Switch for that massive 35% damage increase. And you're also reloading your weapon. And so that is incredible for like a DPS fusion rifle. Now, you also have rewind rounds, right? So as long as you're landing your hits, you're going to be reloading the weapon, and essentially this is a doubling or more of your magazine. You even have overflow. You pick up special or heavy and it just doubles your magazine size, right? So that's incredible. Then you even have Demolitionist. Remember, throwing your grenade instantly reloads your weapon with demo. So you can shoot, and when you're out of ammo, chuck a grenade to do extra damage to the boss, instantly reload, and keep going. So all those are going to be fantastic, frankly. Then in the right column, we've got the first one here, Deconstruct. This does improved damage against constructs. Certain bosses, guys, count as constructs. So this could be actually a pretty juicy one against very specific like boss DPS strategies. Then you've got a Burning Ambition just for that extra scorch damage. If you're running certain builds where you are actually having fragments to improve the amount of scorch you're inflicting on a target to improve the damage of ignitions, this becomes very juicy. Now, Reservoir Burst improves the damage whenever you're over the original magazine size or at the max. So Reservoir Burst plus Overflow is quite the wombo combo, right? Because all the Overflow rounds will all do bonus damage. Then Controlled Burst is fantastic, landing every shot in a burst. So if you're fighting a big like raid boss where you basically can't miss, which is a lot of them, this is fantastic, right? It's going to improve your charge rate as well as your damage, so very good for DPS, guys. So for that PvE god roll, you got a lot of options. Again, you're going to want something to improve the magazine size, guys, because, you know, you want as many rounds as possible, right? Going from 7, 8 rounds potentially with ionized. Then Envious plus Bait is the obvious wombo combo god roll, but Rewind plus Bait is also fantastic. Rewind plus Controlled Burst. If you are someone who hates rotating through all your guns to trigger bait, Rewind plus Burst is going to be phenomenal for DPS as well. And honestly, a Deconstruct roll just in case there's a certain raid boss, there's a certain thing you need to damage that is counting as a construct. For example, the second boss in the Sundered Doctrine dungeon, I believe, when you're shooting the lock something, I forget what it's called, that where you have to DPS essentially a boss, that counts as a construct. So Deconstruct is suddenly amazing against that guy, if I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, just getting a backup roll with Deconstruct is not a bad idea because like against certain things, Deconstruct is like the best perk in the game. So yeah, and then honestly, Burning Ambition, if you are running a build that is relying on Scorching, that can be very good as well. Now, don't forget PvP. Unfortunately, not the best PvP perks in the left column. For that, you're probably going to go for like Small Bore. Let's go with Projection Fuse. And then really there's only one option here, and that is Lone Wolf to improve aim assist, ADS speed, and when there's no allies nearby, that's going to improve, combined with closing time, right? Range, accuracy, and handling as your magazine is low. Well, in PvP, your magazine is always low because you have limited special. So these two perks are going to be pretty juicy. And there's an argument for a successful warm-up, but not a very good one. Guys, let's move on from there to the final weapon we're going to look at here. And that is going to be the Kiranios. And this is going to be an Arc Adaptive Frame Trace Rifle. Now, this was added to the game within Season 26, Episode Heresy, so this is an updated version that has been added to the tiering system. So, taking a look at what it can get in terms of perks here, guys. So, in the left column, the barrel is really up to you on a trace rifle. I don't think it's going to matter too much. You're kind of looking for something with not too many downsides. I mean, honestly, small bore, range and stability, that's great. Then, in terms of the battery, you're looking for stats for PvP, and then an extended mag size or improvements to the reload speed for PvE. Now, in terms of the main perk columns in the left, we have Shoot to Loot. Honestly, trace rifles with shoot to loot, still very good, right? Just being able to like shoot off in the distance, instantly reload, everything, get like heavy that you've left on purpose for some crazy damage phases. They're still being used, right? Traces with shoot. You also have rewind rounds, gonna massively improve the magazine. We have a new perk here with supercharged magazine. So while amplified, ammo is gradually transferred from reserves to the magazine. When you have something with a very large magazine size, like a trace rifle, this can be very juicy. You know, overflow to double the magazine size. Rapid hit, I don't think is gonna be very good. Now we do have trickle charge. So whenever you trigger bolt charge, you're improving your weapon. We've seen how amazing trickle charge is with the heavy machine gun, right? So having it here on a trace rifle, constantly reloading while you're shooting can be pretty juicy. And we even have 4th times the charm, which is actually really juicy on a trace rifle, just because you're shooting so much. You put the beam over, you know, a target's head, and you're just getting precision, 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 precision. So that could be really good. Then, killing tally, again with a big magazine size trace rifle. Killing tally is not bad. We have the new detonator beam, which is interesting. We have a really good one here with jolting feedback. That is going to be fantastic with a trace rifle. You know, you're shooting a target, after a certain amount of shots, you're gonna do that jolt, right? That's gonna do big damage to the target. That's gonna make the target more susceptible for other damage, and it's going to emit an AoE and electrocute enemies nearby. We have chain reaction, which is kind of been nerfed, but still all right. We have target lock, which can be good with a trace for DPS. We have butterfly to get that explosion effect, and then we have rolling storm to get more stacks of bolt charge. So I mean, like, honestly, trickle charge plus rolling storm, quite the combo, right? If you're behind a Titan rally barricade, that can be pretty darn juicy. In terms of like a DPS roll, if you're wanting to kill with this weapon, something like rewind rounds plus jolting, right? That's going to be fantastic. Trickle, if you can trigger it, plus jolting, that's going to be fantastic. I think jolting is probably the best overall perk here, but shout out to killing tally as well as target lock for being other options for DPS. Rewind rounds comes into the equation. This is a very solid perk as well, just for constantly refilling the magazine. And fourth time's a charm is actually really interesting. Like, fourth times plus target lock, you might be able to do some actual good damage here, because remember, the fourth times ammo is generated out of thin air, whereas rewind rounds is going to reload from your reserves. Fourth times is literally just creating ammo out of thin air. So in terms of ammo efficiency, fourth times could be really, really juicy. For PvP, I mean, I don't even, nothing really in the left column looks super insane for PvP. In the right column, I mean, maybe target lock could be interesting, something like that. But this is mainly going to be a PvE focused weapon. A lot of solid rolls here. If you want the pure utility roll, it's going to be shoot to loot plus jolting, right? Jolting is just good, right? Being able to get a jolted effect on a target, again, improving the damage you then deal with your heavy weapon or whatever, great. Jolting is going to stun overload champions. Then you have the utility also of shoot to loot, just being able to, well, shoot ammo across the map and loot it. Like, this is just a very, very good utility roll if you're running double special. I think a lot of people are going to be looking for shoot to loot plus jolting just for that, like, good in everywhere scenario. And so, guys, that's it for our look at all three of the new Guardian Games 2026 weapons. Honestly, some pretty good god rolls. Like, that Stasis Spread Shot Hand Cannon might be the new best Spread Shot Hand Cannon for PvP with some of its perk combinations, right? Not to mention the Beacon Fusion Rifle. Incredible DPS rolls there, like Bait plus Envious Fusion Rifle, and Fusion Rifles have been pretty good for DPS in the past against certain bosses at certain points in the meta. And then you also have the Trace Rifle with some juicy utility rolls there as well. So honestly, all three of these weapons are pretty desirable. I'm going to try to get a god roll with all of them. Guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.